in your business. We are back, and it's Monday morning, a little bit of a gloomy day outside. It's been a very interesting weekend. I had some good fun. Martin, how about you? How was your weekend?
I had a good, nice weekend and good Monday morning to everybody out there. Coffee is ready. Weekend been good, and I have been thinking company actually the most of the weekend. So
It's typically what happens. What
typically
happens
what
when
we
you
have.
have a podcast. I mean, sorry, when you have when you have a podcast, you're always thinking of what you want to speak about next. But then when you have a company, it is look. I think it's time that we just get right into it. Right, when you have a company, let's actually lead with a little bit of balance on building a company, and then we get into. We've got 3 topics today, guys. The 3 topics that we're going to start doing is addressing what they are, what we see, how we solve them, and then hopefully the audience can watch these little snippets and take something away from it. So right now we're talking about GTM strategy. What are some of the problems when you're creating a go-to-market strategy, right? We're going to lead with balance. And is there really a balance that you can have when you're building a company? I don't think so. I think it's somewhat of it's a flawed statement to have balance when you are building because there is so much dedication. Then we want to address hiring the right people, and then chaos when there's no structure. So 4 things. We'll do maybe 2 to 3 minutes on each segment, and then we'll wrap up so everybody can get back to work. So Martin, the first thing for me, I recognize this, and I've been battling with my wife about this every week for the past 6 weeks. I've told you about this, and it's about balance with work and with just home life. And yes, I believe it. You have to make time for the things you need, right? You have to get your work done. I think like obsessive control over your work to get it done in the right amount of time. Be very smart with getting it finished, and then after work, you want to be able to have freedom to enjoy your family, right? Not come home and carry on doing work, and then that's where that balance comes. But can you really have balance when you are building a startup?
I see every day on either LinkedIn or Facebook these coaches coming around and this word life balance, work balance,
Crazy.
all over the place, and you can build a company, and then that you can have your own time there, and then you can work 4 times a week, and then you can manage it yourself, and I think it's a glorification of being independent. Like if that's what you want, if you want to cut down, if you want to have that focus time more than ever, then don't be independent. Don't go do your own company because
Exactly.
it's not happening.
No.
Of course, life balance is super important, but it is super difficult. I think, like in any other situation, you need to have you need to see your life, private life, as your work life. So you need to have structure. You need to
Yeah.
try to do a plan. Am I off? When I'm on? But it's very difficult. It's very difficult to turn off your brain. So that's something you need to train yourself in. I try to train myself. I know Peter, our CEO, tried to do the same. Coming home from work, saying from 5 to 7:30 or something like that is off
Mhm.
time. My mobile is away. I'm focusing right now in this specific time on having some
Yeah.
dinner, making food with my kids, etc. And then I can go back again. I think you need to put in a structured plan. When are you private? When are you working? So
Can you
it's not
can
going
you
out of hand.
finish though? Can you really? So here's a good question. Can you really finish your day? Let's say you start at 9, right?
Yeah,
Which even as a startup, you never start at 9 because as soon as you get up, you look at your phone, you go to the bathroom, you're brushing your teeth, and the second you put the toothbrush to your mouth, your brain is going right, and then you go to coffee, and then like on the way to work, all right, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
yeah.
Then you got your day, and even if you get everything done at 5 o'clock when you go home,
The
do you
question, the
really
question
do you
is,
really
when are
start
you
off at that
done?
time?
When are
Yeah.
you done? The question is, and I made a post yesterday. It's not out there yet, but it was my Sunday reflections. And what the post says a little bit about, that's actually my every Sunday is some of the best working hours I have. I go a
Hmm.
long walk with my dog up to the golf course. We're going a long way, maybe 2 hour walk. And for me, that's my working space. This is my best day of the week. It's my 2 hours of walking where I don't have you calling me, I don't have my other people, Peter's not calling me, there's no mails that need to be responded, etc. That's for me is like Martin time where I can go through my week. It's my planning for the next week. So you are not off because you are home. It's an exercise you need to say when you are home. When are you
Yeah.
off? People often ask me, so, but yeah, then you work from 8 to 5 or 6, but then what? You still work in the evening, 10 o'clock to 11 before I go to bed. It's not because I want to, but it's coming up again. So again, back to put structure in. When are you focusing on your family, which you need to, you want to, you need to,
Yeah,
you
of
have
course
to,
you do.
of
Yeah.
course. When are you doing that? And then try, it's very hard, but try to be in that moment, be present in what you do. And then, as you also be coming back to it a little bit later on this podcast, structure and business, but this also counts structure and private life. So I think set the framework up. Or and my wife at home now, she knows that between this time and this time, Martin is not on his phone. He's and then you need to allow yourself to be present. Be present
Yes.
where you are.
Yeah.
um, then I think you will have a more easy life in general because your family will also accept more
It's
that
true.
you are working a lot, you know.
It's
So it's
very
not that
true.
easy. It's not that easy. And
No.
it's not an 8 to 4 job or a 7 to 4 or 5 o'clock. That's not what it is. So it's something you need to be able to turn off and on
It's
when you.
very true, and I was able to learn this very quickly in my first business, and my first business was very exciting. It was the first thing I'd ever done, so building from the ground up was very exciting. I was 7 months into building my business, and then my wife moved here from Morocco, and then I actually made the jump from quitting my job while she arrived in the first 2 months and starting my business to like going fully into the business full force. And I asked her, I said, hey, look, life is going to be very tough right now for the next few years. Are you cool with this? I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start my company. And she said, go for it, baby. Go for it, baby didn't mean shit when it was 2.5 years in. Because this shit, I was every night and to finish what you'd think you'd finish. There was no finish. 6, 7 when I was CEO, 6, 7 o'clock, you got Mohit calling, then you got Anton calling, then you got Dan calling, then you're just about to go to bed, and then I got Maria from Colombia calling, and then it's 11:30. I pretend to we're just about to turn on the movie now, and then it goes again. And like I said, I've said it many times, my relationship broke down because of that, because I
Yes.
didn't have that balance. And it went through a massive amount of change where going into Mega, even though it's a startup now, I'm in a little bit of a different position, but I still have a ton of responsibility. But the way I work now, I do make sure I get my work done,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
whole load of it, a big impact, so that when I do have that free time, like you said, to your point, I can be present. And what the takeaway is, don't get into a position where you do go into building and you're so dedicated that nobody else knows what I'm talking about. Nobody else knows the feeling. People do
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
Learn to have some sort of control
Yes.
and make sure your mind is right, Jim, for example, and
Yeah.
then make sure
Yeah.
you're wholesome so you can be a good
I
father,
want to pick up
husband,
the
and
word you said
family.
there, control. That was actually my biggest, and it has actually, I have been building and selling companies for like more than 16, 17 years now, but and I have first actually learned it really well now. When I come home, when I take the door and I go into my house, I learned that from my wife because she said, don't bring your work mentality, your stress, your
Yes,
happiness or your not happiness into that door. When you walk in this door, leave it behind you and be present. That's a very good takeaway for everybody. Don't
yeah,
bring whatever it's hard, not hard, difficult thing. You just lost a contract, you won one, da da da. All these things will happen every day as a
yeah.
startup. Don't bring it home. Yeah, you can bring the happiness home if you're happy, but you have 70% stress and not happiness in startup. So don't bring that home because it will be infecting your family at home. And remember, it's not their journey; it's your journey. So
That's
you
very
you
true.
owe other people around you to say your vision, your motivation is not theirs; it's yours. So you should
That's a
remember
very good
that.
point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, and I think that can lead us then into, I mentioned chaos without structure being maybe the last topic, but
Ooh,
I think we can get right into that now then and say
yes.
that's point two, and maybe what we'd want anybody to take away from this is when there is chaos and when there is a lot of things happening in your business, because it's very easy to start and say, let me start selling. But when you start selling and then you close a contract and you have to build a contract and then you have to make sure it's agreed and then signed and then you send your invoice and then make sure it's paid. There's a whole load of stuff that goes onto there. Then onto onboarding. All of this stuff has to then slowly either be added on because it's not going to exist, right? And then when it's added on, it has to be perfected to work. And then
Yes.
when it works, it has to be repeatable. And that's
Yeah.
what people don't get, because you think I'll just do something and no, you have
No.
to do something and then do something and then do something and then do something and then do, and because business is an infinite game, there is always the and then do something. And what
Yes.
happens is when you have Shane doing a lot of some things and Martin doing a lot of some things and Peter doing a lot of some things and Morton doing a lot of some things and Anders doing a lot of some things and Anders K doing a lot of some things and Neil's doing a lot of some things, you all of a sudden have 100 different things that need to happen in your business
Yeah.
now. And if you don't happen now, something doesn't work, a customer's unhappy, and now you've got pressure, and that's what chaos is, right?
Yeah.
And the question is, how do you organize that chaos? How do you control it? How do you
And
get on top of it so it don't consume you?
it comes back a little bit to what we ended the last question was, that you owe to come home and leave it behind you. And why is that very difficult? That's very difficult if you have too many loose ends around you, as we actually had in Mega. And it's not
Yeah,
what
but
we
it's
had in Mega.
normal.
Everybody has that in a
Yeah,
startup. But when you have all these loose ends and you are a co-founder or you are very close, you have been with us for the first call we took. You are
of course.
also
Yeah,
you also have shares in the company, so your ass is also on the line. Your
of course.
life, your future is here. So when you come home, and it is like, and you begin to see that it actually affected me quite heavily when we came to that. Oh, too much chaos now. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
if that process is
You
under
can't breathe.
control. I can't breathe. And then I bring it home, and I actually also come at work, waking
Yes.
up like this. Stress is not like, oh, did any good customer wrote to me today? Fuck, what fire do I need to pay out today? What fire is now? So all these
Yeah,
fire happenings around you, and they will
yeah,
get structure. And we came to a conclusion, and I think you should ask yourself that: are you a structured person? If you and you are not necessarily a structured person because you are a founder. Like, take me as an example.
yeah,
I'm not structured. I'm structured with some things. Peter, my co-founder, completely not structured. A
yeah,
lot of our AI people and developers, not that structured.
yeah.
You, on the other hand, crazy structured. So
No,
you
of course.
need to have something. So I will actually flip the questions around and saying, we found out chaos was here now. Too many things. We are onboarding now. We are building. We are
Yeah,
closing huge enterprise clients.
yeah.
So let me flip it around. Shane, give it a good advice. How do you get structure in complete chaos? Tell us a little bit what you are doing now for Mega and the journey you are taking the whole team on
Yeah.
different departments to wipe out that chaos. What are you doing about it?
So first was having the problem. It's always to have a problem that exists, and then it's what mechanisms, what frameworks can you use to actually clear out that mess that you're dealing with, or clear out the problem, or alleviate or lighten the load on the problem. And mine happened 4 years. It's now 3 or 4 years ago when my first problem happened, and everything was going good. It's when everything usually goes really well, but you have so many things you don't know what to do with it, and it's a matter of saying, all right, I run this type of business, what actually works right now? And I had to read a lot of books and I had to watch a lot of podcasts and consume a ton of content. That was hours and hours and hours of knowledge consumption that got me to a point where two books, The Goal by Eli Goldratt and Gino Wickman's framework of the entrepreneurial operating system. See, it's amazing what happens when you say the right things.
They love
And
it.
it's called Traction. And those two elements together, the goal allowed me to see throughput. everybody knows bottlenecks exist, but to be able to create throughput, meaning if there is a pipe and you've got hair in the middle of the pipe, that water is just going to keep building up. And the second you clear that water, that hair, it's going to blast through. And that's what businesses need to achieve, throughput. And then it's getting that throughput, though, it's the pipe around it, right? It's the pipe around it, because otherwise everything will go out of control. And being able to understand those two items that help me understand structure and control, and then figure out in my business through level 10s, right? There's a level 10 framework. You go to YouTube and check it out. I'll put a link to it. That will give you the best framework for hosting a meeting, because the biggest problem in all startups or businesses is having meetings that waste time, where managers come onto meetings and waste time. Employees
Just to wrap in there a little bit, you can also say the most meetings actually happen over the stairs, over with the coffee machine. Hey,
yeah,
what about onboarding? Hey, do you got this? Hey, what about that?
yeah,
What about this? So, and it's loose, it's not structured, and you're right. There's many meetings during the weeks where you actually cover small things here and there, but you don't get the full picture, and you don't get everybody aligned. Is then these two people are talking a little bit here, these people are talking a little bit
yeah.
here. It's never really structured. These people don't know what these people were talking about, and that is when chaos begins to come. I see it in my morning meetings with the management group. I'm coming in, and you need to, you shouldn't actually be asking, hey, I forgot. What about this customer?
Yeah.
Where is this actually in control? Oh, do you got it? Did you see that mail coming? That is when chaos is floating. And even though
Yeah,
it's not my responsibility, it will be lying in my brain also, because there's no visibility. We have created that visibility in Mega
yeah, yeah,
now. Why we see the chaos go away easy and not easy. That was the wrong word,
yeah.
but it's floating away, the chaos. Try
It's
to tell
true.
me a little bit about how do you do those level 10. What is a level 10 structure for you? Just shortly explain the
So
audience a little bit about how you're doing that meeting
So
form.
level 10s for our business and for 3,000 other businesses is a structure a way to structure and host a meeting every week that covers every single point that needs to be covered to make your business move forward, right?
Yes.
So the structure very easy. Every item in this meeting is 5 minutes, with the last section being 60 minutes long, and that 60 minutes is used to discuss the actual juice of the business, and the juice of the business is always the problem. So you start off with good news, always a good way to set the tone, right? Let's start with a
Yeah.
good positive tone. Then let's go right into the scorecard, and the scorecard is a number of metrics, the data within your business that moves it forward, right? And you have to go at a high level. So let's say, for argument's sake, it's revenue, then it's sent contracts, then it's live opportunities, then it's live leads, right? Whatever else you want to put in there, onboarding sessions, right? Whatever you want to put, but those usually 7 to 8 high level metrics, you want to have those and report on those. You don't want to discuss them. What are these? Boom, 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 go. Then the next point is your rocks, right? Rocks are another word for goals, and everybody in your business has to know what your goals are. So the
Yeah.
goals for this month is to achieve X revenue and to minimize churn by this much. Those are the only two things you have to focus on, but each person in the business, it will go like this, right? And then that person will go like this, or have this tree. And then you want to talk about headlines, right? Are there any important things that are happening in my business that everybody needs to be aware of? Are there customers that are in problem stages? Are there partners that are angry about anything, or they want to do something? Maybe your resellers, whatever it may be, you have to have a number of headlines that are coming up in your business. If you don't, it'd be really weird, right, to not have those. And then the last point is, I may be missing one point, but the last point is, it's called IDS. And it's 60 minutes to discuss issues that you have,
Yeah.
discuss them, which is the D, and solve them. And that's where, if we were to say, hey, Martin, there's way too much going on right now, I need more people, then Martin and our other 4 or 5 team members, where do they get the opportunity to speak, right? And
Yeah.
without having this forum. And that's where Martin then can say, hey, guys, what do you think is the problem within these items? And then now the group has a frank chance to discuss everything in that
Yeah.
meeting.
And what it leads to, this one, especially what it leads to is you cannot have week by week 10, 15 big issues you need to solve. If that's not
No,
realistic, you prioritize properly on these meetings together with the group. All right, I have these 10 problems. How do I, okay, this week we are focusing on 3 ones or 4 ones. This is the one.
exactly.
I need
Yep,
support from you
yep.
to fix it. Then you don't need to talk about it before next level 10. You have a structure. It's not in your head anymore. And you don't have this where you have, I see some comments, there are like notes all over. I need to fix this problem, this problem, this problem, this problem, this. You cannot fix. Now it become chaos. It also become chaos in your head, and you are not productive
Exactly.
anymore. You are actually just stressed because you cannot see your way out of all this. So that's level 10, that's structure. I can recommend everybody to do it. We did it 6 months ago in sales. We are now doing it in MEGA and onboarding team. We are now doing it in development team. We are now doing it in the production team. We are now doing it in all teams. And then we have one common one every week where
Yep.
all the teams meet to align. And it just makes a huge difference. So that's one of the recommendations. When you start up a business, beginning to hire different departments, start doing structure before you do anything else. That's a learning.
I think that's a great point. And look, we whacked on about 20 minutes of good information on this, and we got 9 minutes left. So I think let's see if we can cover the two other items. But I think one of those, which is people, right?
Yes, that's the most
And
important one.
if we talk about people as a second point to chaos, right?
Yeah.
I think we can probably help a lot of viewers, a lot of audience members deal with something that they will deal with actually right now because it's May 19th. Okay. If you are employing people and they are not happiest, right? Or you are employing and they are happiest and they're about to go into the summer with two different mindsets, right? That's going to change the way they view the business. And then they're going to come into September, and September is usually when they have new jobs. But if you have good people that want to really, really, really absorb this chaotic environment, they like to fix problems, and they are gung ho about your business, right? Which is, again, I want that in any business I want. If I'm doing it, I want my business, I want my peers to know we got it. Shane's here. Like we got it under control, or we got it under control. Martin's here. Like they will lead us into the fire. And that's what the right people are. When you have problems in the business, some people will come to you and complain and bitch and moan and go through all this stuff versus coming and saying, yo, look, there's a really, really big problem here.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? These are my thoughts. What do you think we should do? Well, hey, look, I've already got it. Oh, come with the solution. Help me move my business faster, right? Help me move it along through this issue so I don't have to spend the next hour speaking to you about it and then figuring out my own solution with all my other bullshit that I got to deal with and then see if the thing I pick will actually solve that problem.
Yeah.
And that's where the right people come into play. So I think the right people, and then I'd love to hear your opinion. The right people, in my opinion, comes from having the right values. So Shane's values are one thing, and they could radiate outwards, but not everybody can have my values or work to my values. Now, my business can have a certain set of values: trust, respect, professionalism, courtesy, right? All these things. Your business can have those. And if the employees can basically align to those values, then everything they do within the business will be pretty much on track, right? So how do you find the right, you've been actually quite good at it. How do you find the right people to help you build your vision, build your dream? What are the
Yeah,
things you
it
look
was
for?
really nice to say that I have been good at it because I've been good at it in this company, and I don't think it was actually me who was especially good at it. It's not my big force actually always to hire the right one. So I had problems with that before. Like when I had my call centers over 600 employees, I didn't hire them. I was not allowed to hire them. I had a recruitment department because I always just, oh, I like you. Oh, you're a good person. Let me hire you. Oh, come on,
She
start
sounds
tomorrow.
good. She sounds good.
And that was not working really well. And in the old company we built it, and I learned a lot from the company and whistleblower partners that we built, where we just ramped up with 40 people like that and thought we could take over the world with just putting more people into the equation. That was not the case. So I have learned now. Actually, you are actually hiring a part of our people that is in our sales department. I think it's the most important and crucial thing. You, the reason that Mega is a success now is because of the staff. We are not a big team
Yeah.
in each department, but we are a very skilled team in each department. You need to hire somebody that is better than you in the field that you are that you need them to work in.
Yes.
You,
Agreed.
as an example, are better than me to doing structure, to doing the first part of the sales funnel.
Yeah.
That's your specialty. To
Yeah.
bring the right ICPs, bring the right people, do the right foundation to bring them to me. I'm probably better at selling and closing big
You are.
enterprise than you,
Yep.
and
You are.
that's why we are a good match. And but you also need to have people that can tell you as a founder where you do wrong, and that's why you need to have people where you put your pride. Remember, you hired these people because you want them to be more clever than you.
Yep.
So you need to listen. So I would be completely stupid on another level if I didn't let you tell me how this should be done in your. Why the fuck, sorry my language, have I hired you if I wouldn't listen to
Exactly.
what you're saying? And I think that counts for the most, especially when you're a startup. Hire people that are better than you to what you hire them, listen to them, give them responsibility, give them. I talked with my wife actually about it in the weekend and somebody else where we talked actually about you. And I think some of the amazing thing is that it's not about me approving things or be on it or and
Yeah.
question it. It's about somebody that I trust
Yep.
take over so I can have a peace of mind
Yep.
in my
True.
weekend because I know Shane is fixing it and he's fixing it better than I would be able to fix it. So I'm safe. So that's my that's a very good, and the same with Samantha. Sonim is like a maniac on CRM.
Amazing.
I would be game over if that was me. So I listen. So I think
Yep.
as a founder, try not to be everywhere. Know where you are good, know your weakness, hire the people who can, optimize that, be there for you as a group, and then listen. There's so many founders that half listen, oh yeah, and then they go their own direction again because I know better attitude.
Yep.
There is no
Yep.
I know better attitude. You are good
Yep.
at that. You are good at that. You are good. Hire the right people and don't grow too fast. And then again, we had another podcast a long time ago actually saying don't hire. Just hire
It's
a
true.
small group of the right people, and then the next step before you hire more, optimize, automate all the things you can, and then
Yep.
figure out what is the right. And there is no quick fix in sales or in operations just to hire more people fast. It doesn't work. It will lead to more stress. It will lead to more chaos. And you also, as
True.
again said, which we told before, you need to have structure in your company before you are hiring people. Otherwise, you are hiring people that are maybe not that skilled as you are, or some of your other team members, and they need to go into a chaos situation and try to perform in that, and it will break them, and you will lose money, and you will have like a bad start of your company. So, hire the right people, give them responsibility, make sure to do a structure, make sure after that structure, what can you automate and make automation, and then figure out what do you need to be added to your
It's
team. Who
very
do you need?
true. I think that's a good way to wrap it up. And then for those that are on the other side, and if you've taken the leap if you've taken a leap of faith in a founder that you do believe in them, right? Believe
Yeah.
in them and trust them too. And if they do listen to you, if they do trust you, like you have something very good, right?
Yes.
It's not every day where I've had multiple jobs where I started off, right? So let's say I started off in 2015 in one of the best jobs that where I started to earn real money as a delegate salesperson, and that was where I learned to open up those relationships and found out I was very good at that, right? And then I got into full sales cycle and I was okay, but I didn't like the actual closing a deal was a massive win, but the actual chase of like and how much you actually have to do, it's not an easy process, which is what you're good in. And that's why it's even in sales driven. I had to do the whole process until I gave it over to Antoine and I figured out that that's great. I open doors, that person closed. And then here we just amplify it. I can open up tons of doors with more technology now. And then your world, you love it, you enjoy it. again, it's like, why would you take on more stress and more responsibility when you don't have to? Do what you do really well. You do what you do really well. But again, for those that are on the other side, trust your founders, speak to them. Don't be the nice guy. Don't be the yes man
Precisely.
that
Don't be the
says,
nice guy.
yeah, it's not. It don't do you any favors. Go and talk and really help, and that's how you'll push a business forward. And for me, in terms of structure and people, I think that's a wicked way to wrap up a half an hour.
I think
Is
so
there
also.
anything else that you want to cover on people and
No,
structure that could
no,
be
I think
valuable?
this is the best advice we could actually give anybody who is in the founding phase, who are building a company. It's not only for founders. This one is actually
Yeah,
also for all the people who are close to the founding team. And I actually just want to pick up on saying, if you are close to the founding team, do the last thing that Shane said. Don't try to nurture them up. Don't try to be nice to them. In that sentence, it
yeah,
don't lead to anything. Own your domain, and take responsibility for it, and go do an impact, and go say when something is not right or what you believe in.
yeah,
And so this is for everybody, actually, in startup companies or in growing
exactly.
companies. This is some really good advice on how to get that process even more smoother than it is for you now. And with that said, have a fantastic weekend wherever you are, in London, in Germany, in Denmark, wherever. We wish you a happy Monday.